This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Eric Magnus Eubanks from Alpena County Library. Hi, Eric.
Hello, Nancy. How are you today?
Good. And then just before we started taping, we talked about how crazy September was for you at the library, and October's shaping up to be just as crazy.
Yeah, September was one of the busiest months that I think the library's had in a long time. I think just about every nonprofit or NGO in Alpena could say that September was one of the craziest they've had in a long time. It was a great month, ready to turn the page into the fall, and we've got some great things coming up.
You do, and a lot of it starts and revolves around the musical Hamilton.
The musical Hamilton, based on the life of that most enigmatic of our founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton, has really caught the imagination, especially of the younger set. It's, for those that don't know the musical, it's kind of a rap version of the founding of our country, which is odd, but it's really catching the imagination. So much so that PBS decided they needed to do a major new documentary of the life of Alexander Hamilton in conjunction with the musical. And we're delighted that later this afternoon at 2 o'clock, we'll be showing a pre-screening of that documentary in partnership with CMU Public Television, hopefully the first of many things that we'll be doing. And we've talked for years about doing things like film series and things like that with CMU, and this is going to be the first one with hopefully many more to come. So later this afternoon at 2 o'clock, you'll be able to have a pre-screening of that. And the host, David Nicholas, has a well-regarded show, and he'll be doing part of his Mosaic program at this event, and then he'll be broadcasting live from the library tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon, and so we'll be having a live remote on CMU Public Radio, and we're really excited by this. And this is just the first of a series of events revolving around Alexander Hamilton. If you want the complete list, go to the library's website at www.alpenalibrary.org. Our Facebook page does a great job of putting out all of our events, so just come to the website to see what we've got cooking. But things are going on the whole month. A lot of them are geared towards teens. There's a lip-syncing contest, which I think will be a whole lot of fun. That's on October 23rd. And that's just part of what we have going on this month. Just about every other day, something is happening during the month of October. One of the other good ones that's coming up on October 17th at 6:30, Wayne Lasardi is doing a program on the Tuskegee Airmen, and some of the training for that took place in the Great Lakes region. There are many wrecks of planes in the lakes, and Wayne Lasardi is going to go through some of that.
And Stephanie Gandula from Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary actually dove the site.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, these are amazing stories. I've heard versions of this, and it really is an important piece of our country's heritage, and this region had a small piece of that, and that's good to know. So we're going to be awfully busy the whole month and into the end of the year.
And you know, you have such great programming there all the time. I mean, there's always something to listen to, see, or do, and you get authors, you get venues, you get things into the library that big metropolitan areas can never get, and it's amazing how well you do with all of those things.
Well, you know, we started with a great tradition. We've been doing the author series for a long time. We just went through the visit from William Kamkwamba, the boy who harnessed the wind. And this is someone who, you know, pay attention to the name. I would not at all be surprised if in sometime in the next 10 to 20 years you hear an organization out of Stockholm, Sweden, calling the name. He's got that many interesting things going. So.
Around the world he's known. Yeah. It's amazing, and you brought him to Alpena.
So, and we do something like this every year. We're working on next year already, and next year will be a little extra special because next year will be the 50th anniversary
wow.
of this library in Alpena, and that we think is something to celebrate.
Well, you celebrate there every day, but just, if you just walk into the library and you're not going for an event, there's people sitting over here reading books, people sitting over here reading magazines, there's mothers reading to little children over here. You go up the stairs, there's people on the computers, are usually filled. You go around the corner and there's people standing in the aisles looking for books. There's people in the Michigan History Room. I mean, the place is packed all the time.
We strive to be, my belief is that library is a verb and not a noun. And
Perfect.
So we always try to be doing things that bring people into the library, and we're doing more than ever to make the library a popular place. If it's been a while since you've been in, you might have trouble recognizing parts of it, but we're constantly making it new every day.
And some of the other things, the books on tape, and going online and getting your books, getting them before they're even at the library, reserving them. And I suggest people go on your website because your website is overwhelming. It has so many things on it. You can get practice tests for your GED and look for GEDs. There's so many things on your website.
The GED prep materials, that's one of the underutilized things. We also have online tutoring for kids all the way from kindergarten into the ACC age. That's free of charge, just with your library card. Our Read Adult Literacy program does, right now we're having a sharp increase in the number of GED students that we're helping, in part because we're able to do things with people in the evenings and, things that, ACES has trouble with.
Right.
And so, it's always touching to hear the stories of people that have been touched by the READ program. You hear so many times, if I don't get my GED, I'm going to lose my job. And then hearing, that we were able to get the person to pass the test and save that job.
Yes.
And that's, that changes lives, being able to do that.
It does. Well, we're out of time. I want to thank you very much for being here. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to fill in for Jessica, and hopefully we'll see you again here soon.
You will, but I promise Jessica will be back next month.
Thank you. Yeah. Please stay tuned for Christine Wiltilsky from Besser Museum following these messages. Hi, welcome back. I'm with Christine Wiltilsky from Besser Museum. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Nancy.
Talking about Alpena County Library being busy, you folks are too, and as we're taping this, we're right in the beginning weekend of our Heritage Tour.
Lake Huron Discovery Tour.
Lake Huron Discovery Tour.
Right, it started Friday, and it will go through Monday. So some people might have missed a few things on Friday and Saturday, but there's still things to do today and tomorrow. So Besser Museum partnered, of course, with the Community Foundation and Tim Kuhnlein from Thunder Bay Arts Council, and then Mary Ellen Jones, Mitten Women, that's a film production, and all of us serve on MACNY, Michigan Arts and Culture for Northeast Michigan. And part of our job this year, our focus, I should say, for the Lake Huron Discovery Tour was to create a Native American traveling exhibit and lecture series. And so there's 2 more lectures in this series. Today at Mackinac City Library at 2 p.m. Jim Miller from Willow Winds will be up there, Jeremy Stappa, who is Native, and also Renee Powers from Sheboygan, who also has Native American heritage, will be doing a lecture series up at that Mackinac City Library. And Besser Museum also has a traveling exhibit up there. Ooh. So you can see some artifacts. Part of the project, we interviewed and captured stories from some elders at the Zibwing Center. and then also some stories from Jim Rinn, who is a National Forest Ranger at the Mankato Earthworks, talking about how they made dugout canoes, and then Jim Miller, how they did birch bark canoes. So that is on site, part of our exhibit. You can just watch those on your own. We have an exhibit at the Harrisville Library, so the Alcona Library Harrisville branch. And those exhibits will be up for a couple months, not just this weekend.
Oh, good.
And then there's part of the exhibit in Oscoda at the Oscoda Library, still ongoing after the Lake Huron Discovery Tour ends. So at the Vassar Museum on Monday, we're going to have Ellis Olson, and that's going to be at 7 p.m. Monday. And all of these, I should say, too, are free of charge.
Oh, wonderful.
Right, we got a grant from the Michigan Humanities Council to put this program on. And so the lecture series are free, and the traveling exhibits are there at the libraries for free for the community to enjoy. And on Monday night, Ellis Olson, he is from Sheboygan, historian for about 40 years, I think he said, and did a lot of research on the trail, the Native American trail up the coastline of Lake Huron. So he'll be sharing all of his information. And we also have Corrine Lewis coming. She's a basket weaver. So Corrine, I haven't even met myself. I'm excited to meet her and hear her stories at the Besser Museum Monday night at 7 p.m.
You know, what a wonderful thing, the Lake Huron Discovery Trail. I mean, it takes us all the way along the shores of Lake Huron, and a lot of things that people might not see or know about. So I'm really glad that the museum participated.
So the museum is participating, the library is participating. If you go online, you could either go on your Facebook and type in Lake Huron Discovery Tour, or you can go on the website, the US 23 Heritage website, and find all the great things that are going on, not just the weekend of October 7th through the 10th, but all year long. So all year long, I know you talk about all the great things and the partnerships and the networks and how busy our community is, but you can find all those fun things right on that US 23 Heritage website throughout the year.
Okay, wonderful. And I know you're having a juried art show.
We are, our annual juried art show, and so unfortunately, when this airs, we would have cut off the entries. Because the entries went till Saturday, October 8th. But Saturday, October 8th, October 9th, and 10th is the People's Choice Award. So we started this last year for the Lake Huron Discovery Tour to give people a sneak peek of all the entries. And then Kim DeMette from Grayling, she used to teach here at Alpena Community College, and now she has her own studio in Grayling. She will be our juror this year.
Ooh,
and so she is coming in the following week. But before that, everyone who chooses to come and look at all the art that's being entered, they can cast their choice for what they would choose before the jury comes in, and then of course goes through the process of what makes it into the show and what doesn't make it into the show.
Perfect, and she's a wonderful artist, so it'd be neat to have her, hear her, what she thinks about everything and what she says, and the mediums and all those things.
And then why she chooses what she does. And first place winner will receive $300 cash prize and a solo exhibit the following year. And so right now we have Mark Bynes exhibiting. He was last year's winner. So his exhibit will be up for a few more weeks, so you can get in and see last year's winner, and then preview this year's entries. And then the juried art opening reception will be October 22nd.
Okay, and just like the library, the museum is the same exact place. You always have such wonderful exhibits. You bring people to town that we're so blessed to have in our community, but yet you can just walk in the door there. There's an admission fee, but walk in the door there and go through so many different galleries and see so many wonderful things. You don't have to just go for an opening reception. You don't have to just go to hear a speaker. Just go, take your family and look through that museum. It's absolutely phenomenal.
People are always surprised of what we have in the museum. And of course, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, and our capital campaign has gone so well. We have almost reached our goal, but we have purchased the digital planetarium equipment. We are in training right now, and it is going to be a great addition to the community. We invited APS teachers, ACC teachers, some educators from NOAA out at Starbase came over to look at this, and they were all excited of the potential of what we will be able to do, the collaboration that will take place, the teaching that will come out of there. Tom Gujan has taught in our planetarium ACC astronomy courses for almost 20 years. And when he saw the modules and the visuals and what he will be able, the concepts he will be able to teach and show his students, he was so excited.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
so that's going to take us a little while. We're looking forward to the grand opening. We'll give you more news on that when we're ready to do it. But it was a great addition. And hearing that, you know, we're celebrating our 50th, the library's getting ready to celebrate their 50th, Thunder Bay Arts Council is celebrating, I believe, 45 years.
Yes.
And it's just such a testament of what a great community we are and how much we value arts and culture, how much we value education and technology. And you hear that all the time when you're guest on the couch.
Don't have to travel out of town to see things that other people would have to wait in line for hours to see. What's the best way to find out about all of these things?
You can go on our website, bessermuseum.org. You can jump on Facebook and find us on Facebook. You can call and ask us questions. I know a lot of times people might be a little apprehensive of coming through the door, but just come on in. We have wonderful, friendly staff.
You do.
And they can answer your questions and learn more about the museum.
Thank you. I look forward to more updates next month.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster. I'm president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Mark Jacobs, ACC cross-country coach. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes, and you folks are having a wonderful season. Just won at the Firebird Invitational.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how things are going.
Things could not be better, I'll tell you, and I've said this time and time again. I've coached probably since about 16 years old, and I've always had good teams. I've always had great young men and young ladies, but this is one of those special teams that come around once in a lifetime. You know, like I'd be looking and I'd say, okay, we got about a month to go, and I'll tell you, I'm taking every day. I'm not taking a thing for granted, and I talk to my guys about that all the time. Look around, because you'll never be with a team like this. Just great group of individuals.
Yes, and to your credit, they're not all from Alpena. You've recruited them from...
Got a couple of guys from Onaway, got a young man from Hillman, got a young man from Gaylord, and got a young man from Hart. And then I've got some Alpena runners. I've got 3 Alpena runners. So.
Very good. So tell us about how things went at Grayling.
Okay, so this is the first time they've ever run this course.
Right.
And it was going to be, in college we run 8K for gentlemen. And they told me it was going to be a 6K, and then we got there, it was a 5K. And I've never been to Hanson Hills, and I've heard a lot about it, and I've talked to probably 10 different people to kind of adjust my practice schedule to the type of hills, and I've heard it's either this or, well, it was one long hill. After 1 mile, it was about a 700-meter hill, and we had to do it twice. And we had been practicing at the Sandies. We've also been practicing at Chip Hills and at Black River Hills. And our whole focus the last 2 weeks have been hills. And we just tore it up on the hills. We had a really kind of cool, you know, my highlight of the day was the fact that at 1 mile mark, I had 2 of my runners, about 20 seconds ahead of everybody, and then I had 2 gentlemen from another school, about 20 seconds behind them, and then about 30 seconds behind, I had Colin Guidoni and Ryan Wergo.
Two local kids.
2 local kids running together. And by the time they came to the bottom of the hill, they were about 30 seconds ahead of these guys. And obviously the weather and the course, because Ryan, I did a kind of analysis before the race on their rankings, you know, against our competitors on our team. Ryan was ranked 9th, and he finished 2nd overall. So he just had a phenomenal day, and he just ate those hills up. So it was really neat for me as a coach to see that and see him really get into the groove of, because I believe hills are so mental. Most people, when they run up hills, they say, oh, I'm going to take it easy. I can make it up downhill. And my whole mentality is you attack the hills, therefore then you're beating your competitors mentally. So it's a really neat thing to see.
That is a very interesting point. And as a non-cross-country runner, but you know, somebody who's tuned into athletics, it seems like cross-country is a mental sport that demands toughness and persistence and just a steady effort. It's not necessarily the talent on that particular day.
Absolutely. And again, it's these kids, you know, it's what they put into it, they get out of. They can't slack off during the week in practice and then expect to have great results.
What would a normal week of practice look like?
Well, we've been going hard, and that's my thing as a coach. I really have to make sure that I challenge them, and I really do want to challenge them, but I also have to know when to pull back a little. Perfect example, Sunday afternoon we had practice, 4 o'clock, and I kind of going through what can we do. Kids are, they're fresh, they're running well, and so we did, and I had 5 minutes between each of these runs, but it was full out. We did a 1 mile, a 3 mile, a 5 mile, a 3 mile, and a 1 mile. And not one of these kids flinched when I told them. They didn't shake their hand, they didn't go like that. They got up to the line, and I had a gentleman, and I'll call him out, Sheldon Elke, kid from Hillman, I call him Shelly. After the 5 mile run, he was suffering. He was ghost white, and I thought, I don't want to overdo it. And he kind of, when we finished, he kind of went over to the side, and about 5 minutes later, I said, hey, Shelly, you ready to roll? And I thought, do I have him do the whole thing, or do I have him to do 2 miles instead of 3? He stepped right on the line, didn't even flinch. He ran his 3 mile, his second 3 miler faster than his first one, and his last mile faster than his first one.
That's amazing.
So it's just heart. And again, these guys, they don't want to be that guy who is, pushing, kind of outside the lines. And they push each other, but I'll tell you what, it's kind of neat to see, and in practice they're all hugging each other and they're just, high-fiving, and it's a total team effort.
Yes, I'm very impressed with your team. A great bunch of young men. Your last year's team was a team full of academic All-Americans, and which was a wonderful accomplishment. Is that still a priority for you in this year's team?
That's number one priority. Number one priority. First thing we talk about the first day of practice. That's the goal, and you will be pleased. So right now I've just got the first. I have them bring their grades once a week, and the grades are right now outstanding. So we're going to see a lot more academic All-American individuals, but as a team, that should be a shoe-in this year also.
Wonderful.
And these guys are just, they study all the time, they work together, and again, they work hard, but it crosses over to cross-country and academics.
Well, it's a wonderful thing to see. I feel athletics has many things to offer and teach young people if they're managed properly and the perspective is on the right thing, and I think you're definitely doing that. We appreciate it. As a runner yourself, a
Yes.
very high quality, accomplished runner, and somebody who loves coaching, what is the appeal for coaching this group of folks, or just coaching in general at ACC?
I just love kids with heart. I just absolutely love kids with heart. That's something that you either have or you don't. And I don't believe that you can, all of a sudden, if you have a kid who's not interested, you can give them heart. It's what they, it's what they dig in, and like I said, these guys, these 9 guys, they all have heart. They're all willing to work. First meet, I had about 3 guys. Coach, I'm sorry I didn't run. And I said, you know what, young man? I said, as long as you gave it all you have, you could have run 20 minutes slower. I will never judge you on your time. I will only judge you on what you put into it and how you perform with your heart. Let alone, time doesn't matter to me.
Right.
If they work hard, I'll get them faster. I'll get them faster on techniques and practice and stuff like that. But they've got to look inside themselves, and that's the neat thing about these guys. They never ever, and I said, so don't apologize unless you don't give it out your all.
Wonderful. That is a great inspirational message. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
A great group of guys that represent the college, the community, and you and ACC very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your hosts, Nancy Smitham and Don McMaster. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on the community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.
The Talk of the Town furniture and set design are provided by Young Appliance Art Van Furniture on US 23 South in Alpena.